into this class because this is arsenic hour after all these days. Someone asked me what day it was, and I go, I don't know. And then I got an email from a client, and I'm going, why are they bothering me today? And I'm going, oh, our office is open. Imagine that, huh? Well, I'm Monica Reynolds, San Diego, California. We've got about 5 minutes before we get started. Ladies, have a seat, please. So what I do first is kind of a warm-up. So now's your chance because everybody has a lot of questions. So thank you for filling up the room today. So who has questions before we get started? Oh, I see some virgins here. They're afraid of me already. Stand up. Okay.
I'm Hazel Smith from Philadelphia area. And
thank you, Hazel, for coming through the snow on your snow sled. All right.
My question is, I am in your program.
Okay.
Assistant.
Thank you.
And we need more help.
Okay.
I'm not really, I had an assistant before, like 2 assistants ago, and I said to her at one time, I don't have to worry about anybody stealing because I trained you and you have horrible habits.
Oh, gee whiz. So much for your training. Sit down, Hazel, right now. Okay, so here's the dilemma, okay? So Hazel has a common dilemma. She needs more assistance, another assistant. Okay, so you have to slow down the hiring process because you're probably a high D, right? Or high I, DI, whatever. And so what's going to happen is that somebody who walks in, and because you want to be sold so quickly, they say the right things, they do the right things, they say, you go, okay, all right, can you start right now? Here's the chair, right? And we have to slow the process down. So if you're an assistant hiring another assistant going to the next level, you have to slow the process down. I tell agents to take 30 days to talk to one candidate, go through the recruit select process with them, really understand who they are. Now, can you hire a little quicker than that? Yes, but you can't hire in 1, 2, or 3 interviews. It has to be 5 or 6. You have to sell the vision. You have to sell the opportunity. You don't talk about pay till the very, very, very end until they see the vision and the opportunity. If they don't see the vision and the opportunity, they're not going to be like these great assistants up here that you're going to hear from today. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Another question. Yes, ma'am. Stand up. Oh, this will be good. I can just tell. All right. Naomi, what is it?
I'm Mina Blake in Wallingford, Connecticut.
Of course you are.
My
You're all in red.
Jan is joining us.
You're a DI something, right?
Right. I'm a high vector 4. I'm a 9, which is not a great macrometric agent because I'm all about conformity. And my assistant is a 1. How do we bridge that gap so we don't kill each other?
Okay, so if you guys, you're going to do it. It's just going to happen. But there's a couple of ways to really calm things down. Have you taken an ABA?
Yes.
Okay, has your assistant taken an ABA?
Yes.
Have you read them recently?
I've read her. She hasn't read mine.
Oh, why do you want to keep yours a secret? Is it scary? Pornographic? What's wrong with that? Why? Okay, but see, so here's the thing. You've read hers, she hasn't read yours. So if you spoke French, I could only speak French to you. So you speak driver I, and you speak probably SC, right?
She has I.
Okay, I, okay.
Calls for.
Okay, all right, so you guys have to really learn how to tone it down when you get into the I world and start talking stories and getting all expressive about things and just get to the point. So you guys need to read where the shortcomings are so you can make those limitations. But the key thing is the ABA. So a lot of the agents are probably sitting here going, well, I'm not going to spend $250 on an ABA. Oh, yes, you are. Because this is the greatest career in the world. There's no ceiling. But you have to hire correctly, and you have to communicate correctly. There are 2 reasons people get divorced in this world. And I guess it's over 50% get divorced now. What is it? Communication and money. And why do assistants leave us? Mainly communication. So there should never be a surprise when someone quits. There should never be a surprise when you fire someone. You know, it's the communication that went previously. So start reading each other's ABA before you talk to each other. Look at the disc, really understand how you should communicate. And then because you've both got that I thing going, you need to have limited discussions. Like, okay, we meet on Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock for 15 minutes. And you have an egg time or something. And ding, the bell's over, you have to stop talking. till you train yourself to become more efficient. Is that a little bit helpful? Okay, good. Next question, please, before we get started. 2 minutes. 1 minute. Yes, ma'am. Stand up.
Grace from Memphis, Tennessee.
Thank you, Grace. She gave me a card that was like a record. Who can forget that? Talk about branding. Okay, go ahead.
What is an ABA?
Oh, your market's, okay. So you haven't had one done yourself.
No.
Okay, it's like the next level of a DISC, a graduate program. It really explores who you are, what you're capable of, and you write an essay about yourself, just an abbreviated version about it. But talk to your market center about it. Get one on yourself, because then you know who you need to hire. So you won't understand high vector this, low vector that. So do that for yourself. Okay, that's real critical. All right, so let's get started on time, because I'm all about being on time. So good afternoon, I'm Monica Reynolds. Thank you for being here on Tuesday. I guarantee you we're going to have this be the best session that you've ever been at. Your questions will get answered if you raise your hand and you speak up. And we've got 4 amazing assistants on this panel. So let me start here. Tell everyone, Donna, where you're from.
I'm Donna Wilson.
Oh, we have to turn it on. That's always a trick, isn't it? At the bottom. Okay. Try again. Yeah.
There we go. I'm Donna Wilson. I'm from Boise, Idaho. I've only been a real estate assistant for about 1.5 years. I've been in admin and executive positions for years, but I've been through Monica's Perfect Assistant course.
And now she's in the graduate.
And now I'm in the graduate course.
She fast-tracked everything, just stayed training, which was great.
I work on a team of 11 people. We have 2 listing agents, 4 buyer's agents, and the rest are admin, including TC and an ISA.
Okay, what is your job description with that team?
My job description has morphed a little bit from executive assistant to more like director of operations, where I manage all the admin people, but I also kind of oversee everything that happens in the office.
Okay, newsflash. Watch this. What did you get hired to do when you were first hired?
I was hired to be an executive assistant to the listing agent.
Okay, to the listing agent. So you were going to assist the listing agent. So is that processing the listing?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, great. So obviously it's changed. So how many assistants in the room got hired and now have a different job than when they got hired? Okay, everybody, thank you very much. Okay, that's the point I wanted to make. Okay.
My name is Melissa Nickerson Pratt, and I'm with the Hatcher Group in Portland, Maine. My position, I've only been on this team for 3 months. I was previously on a team with our OP and TL for 6 years. And my position, I'm executive assistant. I do the transaction coordination. I supervise. We have a call coordinator. She does the input for MLS listings, etc. Our ads, our follow-up with our clients. But, and kind of like I'm sure a lot of you, anything else that happens to hit my plate.
Right, how many people on your team at one time?
We have a listing agent, call coordinator, myself, and 3 buyer agents.
Okay, good. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Jennifer Almblad, and I am the Director of Operations and Marketing for the Keep team.
Where did you start out as, Jennifer?
I was hired as a temp to build a spreadsheet, which is supposed to take about 2 weeks. I've been there, this year is my 9th year.
Okay, good. Point proven again.
Yeah. We have a team of 10, 5 agents and 5 admin. My job is basically oversight of the listing department, the closing department, and then I do all the marketing for the team.
And you guys did about, what, 95 million?
Just under 95 million last year.
You have a big team in the Houston area. Okay.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Smith. I work for the Rhodes team. I'm the general manager. I started with Russell right after college, my very first job. Never thought I'd be here 13 years later. Constantly evolved. My background was in advertising, what my degree was in. As the business continued to grow, I realized my calling, my passion was really in helping other people achieve heights that they never thought were possible. My focus has changed totally to sales accountability and helping the buyer's agents and the listing partners reach their goals. And still, I have an operations manager that handles the admin side, but at the end of the day, I'm managing the entire team and making sure that we're running smoothly and creating raving fans.
Okay, so the Rhodes team is very famous. So Tiffany, tell me 13 years ago, how many transactions were you guys doing when you started?
5 a month was huge for us.
Okay, so about 60 transactions, under 100 for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, what did you accomplish last year and where are you going?
We closed 578 homes last year. We'll close 750 in 2014.
Okay, so Tiffany is someone that has seen the company grow and has grown with the company. Does that make sense too? So there's been a lot of changes and transition that you've had to adapt to and learn to.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay, so Jennifer, so when you started at the company and the growth, what's the #1 challenge with growth, do you think?
I think probably the #1 challenge for us is finding the right people as we grow. Really, I think hiring the right people and putting them in the right seat on the bus.
And don't you agree that if you slow the process down, you're more likely to make a good decision instead of pull the trigger fast?
Absolutely.
Have you ever pulled the trigger fast?
Absolutely.
And how did that, what happened there?
It's pretty disastrous, actually.
Okay.
It disrupts the entire operation. It really does.
You know, when you hire the wrong agent and you have a buyer agent, let's say for 6 months, they can cost you $50,000 to $75,000. And not having the right assistant or doing the right training or the right, put that person, she or him into the right spot, you're not going to, you're going to cost the company $50,000 to $75,000 again also. So key hires have to be taken very seriously to take your time. Tell us, okay, you've been there for 3 months, but the team has evolved. And so what is your hiring process like?
I talked to my agent for over a year before we finally decided that it would be a good match.
Wow, okay, there's something.
Yeah, and we actually have a pretty stable team. They haven't really grown that much. We do have big goals this year. We want to almost double our volume this year. So a big part of what I've been working on is tracking where their business had been and keeping them accountable to the goals that they've set for themselves.
Okay, so Donna, what's the history of your team? A little bit of the transactions and stuff.
Well, Alyssa is our lead agent, and she started out working with her dad and then decided to head out on her own only about 3 years ago. She worked by herself for quite a while and then decided she needed someone for 10 hours a week, and that grew to bringing on a buyer's agent and so on and so forth. We have hired buyer's agents that have come and gone quickly.
Okay.
And Alyssa is a very high D. You can't get a whole lot higher. So she has understood and learned from this now, and we plan on going very strictly through the recruit select process from here on out.
Okay, how would you define, we'll go this way and down, how do you define the success of a great assistant or an agent? How would you define that success?
To me, the success of a great assistant is allowing the agent to do their 20%. I'm 80%.
Okay.
She's
When
20.
you say allowing, you mean monitoring and keeping them on track and...
Partially, but in taking everything off of their plate.
Okay,
Anything that does not
distractions.
Yes, anything that does not generate revenue is my job. She's out there to do lead generation, listing appointments, and
Lead
that type
follow-up.
of thing. And otherwise, it's me
Okay,
or the other admin team.
okay, good. All right. Listen.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it, is making sure that they're focused on their 20% and taking off anything that's, not on their 20 and reminding them, no, that's not in your 20%.
Okay, so let's make sure everybody's clear. The 20% is an agent. Their 20% is they lead generate, they lead follow-up, they go on appointments, they negotiate contracts. All of that has a dollar sign. Those are their key things. You guys all agree with that too? Okay, so a great assistant, which all of these ladies are, is that other 80 is now their 20. Does that make sense? So everything else is that's your 20, okay? All right, Jennifer, what do you think makes a great assistant?
I would have to agree, and I'd also say probably kind of being a gatekeeper. What I spend a lot of my time doing is deflecting people from her so that she can stay focused, because my rainmaker is Diane King, and she gets, like I'm sure most mega agents, can get easily distracted by shiny objects. So I kind of am the, the goalie at her door board, trying to make sure that
You
the
are
shovel-
the goalie, that's for
Yeah.
sure, that's a great one.
Yeah, I had a vendor downstairs come up to me, who's been trying to get through to her, and he said, "Oh, you're Jennifer, you're a great gatekeeper." I said, "Yes, I am, thank you very much, let's move it along." But it's a big part of my job.
Yeah. All right, Tiffany, you got a big job. So what, and you've been doing this a long time, and your team has had tremendous growth, and I bet you've hired a couple of the wrong people occasionally.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what really makes up a great assistant?
A great assistant is someone that takes ownership. It's not somebody that is done at 5 o'clock. And we don't, work-life balance is very important. That's not what I'm preaching, that you need to work till all hours of the night. But you have to take responsibility for the goals of the team. It's not your agent's goals, it's your goals. It's your team. When we train our teammates, they're not, because obviously our big thing is referrals. So we want our assistants out there proactively bringing referrals from their friends and family, from their sphere as well. So one of the things that we train them to do is, it's our team, it's not Russell's team, it's our team. And it's a different level of ownership when you start taking responsibility for the results that you're putting with the bottom line.
Okay, so that was a pretty good point. And I had, because we talk about, the Chris Heller team, and I think that was a great point that kind of just resonated with me too, is it really promoting our team. So that's a real key thing. So let me start with you again, and we'll go back down. So how do you, is it a person you hire, or how do you create that value where they are passionate about the goals too, where they have the vision also? How do you develop that, or can it be developed?
That's a good question. It's a two-pronged approach. The first thing that we hire for is that you have a servant's heart. And if you don't have a servant's heart, you're not going to make it on our team. You might be great at your position, but if at your core, you're not there to serve other people, you're not a good fit. And we just say next. The other part of it is really understanding who you're working for and respecting the leadership that you have. Russell is an absolute tremendous man, high integrity. I've never met anybody more honest. So the assistant has to have a servant's heart, and the agent has to have a pure heart with good intentions, and then you're excited to work for him.
Okay, great. All right. Jennifer, on the King team, how do you make sure everybody's in the boat rowing and has the same vision and dreams?
I think ours really comes down to, we have 2 meetings a year that are absolute, you cannot miss them. It's our annual planning meeting and then a half-year meeting. And one of the things that we do at that meeting is I say everybody has to re-up, basically. We assess our goals at that point at the mid-year meeting and say, how are we doing? And if we're not hitting where we need to be, then everyone kind of has to re-up and everybody has to have buy-in. And we ask for a commitment. Sometimes it's written, sometimes it's verbal. It depends on the year. We've kind of done both. But we do the same thing at the annual meeting.
What do you do about a weekly meeting?
We do a weekly staff meeting,
Okay.
where we go through numbers, basically as a team, the team numbers, how we're doing, how we did that week, how we're doing for the month, how we're doing for the year. Whether or not, if we stay on this pace, whether or not we'll be on track for the year. And that's every Tuesday morning, and everyone has to be there too.
Okay, good. All right, Melissa, how do you get someone on the team to want the passion about the goals too? I'm so excited as you guys are about the goal.
You really have to, it goes back to hiring the right people. You have to have that attitude, that they want to be there.
They see the opportunity.
They see the opportunity and they want to be there. And we, in our weekly meetings, also post all the goals and, how everybody's doing towards the goals. And so it really helps them to feel like they're part of it, like what they're contributing towards our goals, keeping everybody together, and it's our goal, not each individual person's goal.
Okay. So, Don, I'm going to ask you a different question. What system or thing that you put into place that made a difference in the business this year?
This year, what I am working on, and I think has already made a difference, is I'm working on that buyer's agent training manual that we started in our mastermind.
What they're talking about, there's a graduate real estate assistant class that we only allow 15 in, so we start doing different projects, and that was a pretty big project.
It's huge, and we had an agent who just started at about the same time, and the first thing I did was the first 100 days. And that was able to be handed to her, and she knew where to go from Williams University.
Agent Mountain, all of that.
You find all the things, all the resources that are out there, and then all the expectations we had of her, and what she needed to do within that first 100 days. And that's my biggest.
So that's your biggest system you refine. How about you, Melissa? Go back down.
What I've been doing is, they had gotten away from tracking any of their numbers.
Well, I know. That'd be the first thing, right? Right, everybody, assistants have to do that.
Yeah, so it was like, where's your business coming from? What, what's putting any return on investment? So I have, which I had brought with me from my previous team, this huge spreadsheet that tracks everything and
well, let's
what
stop
vendors
right there.
we use.
Let's stop a minute. Why does an agent need to know every single source of their business? Every single source of appointment, whether they got it or not? Why do they need to know the sources of business? Yes, ma'am.
So that they can put their money basically where it matters. Like if they're not getting anything from Zillow, then they need to put their money.
Exactly. They need to analyze it, or if they're getting Zillow leads and they're not returning the calls, what are we doing this for? If we're not getting expireds, and our expired market has changed, and there's lots of expired. So it's a way to always analyze your business, because we're business people, not just real estate agents. Right? Okay, good. All right.
I think that is one of the key points of a good assistant is protecting the bottom line, and making sure that you're making good financial decisions, which is why it's so important to track your numbers.
Yeah, and an easy way to do that is to ask your agent, assistants in this class, and to ask your agent, how many houses do we need to sell, to close, to break even, and then personal life. So, for example, in our office, for our office overhead, we need 12 houses to close. And everybody in our office knows that. We need 12 houses to close to break even. So anything over that, we're doing pretty good. And everybody understands the financial obligation. Chris Heller's name's on the door, and if we have a tough month, he has to figure it out, And so that's why, you have reserve accounts and things like that. But the key is to know those numbers, because it's such strong accountability that if you need 6 houses to break even, and it's now the 20th of the month, and you put 3 under contract for next month, there could be a challenge. Do you agree? You better get going fast. Okay, what systems have you put into place, Ms. Jennifer?
My big project last year was drip programs.
The drip program. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, we sort of dabbled in them for a while, and then it was one of those things as you're growing and building your business. It's one of those things that's very easy for most people just to kind of push aside and, I can do those letters tomorrow, or I can do that tomorrow, or we can do it next week or next month, or I can call them next week. So that was a big thing for us last year. And then this year is the lead tracking. That's a big one for me this year.
Okay, good. Got to do that. Right, Ms. Tiffany.
In the past, anytime we've hired somebody, it's been hit or miss, and it's been our fault because of the training has been so spotty. In the busier months, it's learn, sink or swim, and in the slower months, maybe you got a little bit more attention. We're systematizing that where it's all on video, it's all duplicatable, and that way as we continue to add people, we don't have to recreate the wheel every time, but it's a system that we can.
So did everybody just hear that? Another little gem. Everything's on video. So as you bring on another assistant, or agents, if you bring on your first assistant, start recording, videoing, training them about how you like things done, and they can listen to it and play it, and, great efficient way to do that. Now, you guys have been in my class, a lot of you, if you have a question, this class is for you, so you raise your hand and we go from there. All right, yes ma'am, stand up.
Hi, I'm Tracy from Cincinnati.
Of course you are, Tracy from Cincinnati.
Tiffany, when you say that you have videos, do you guys create those videos, or are you pulling them from KW?
We create the training manual that I'm creating is our office, so our systems, our approach, our theory behind,
Yeah, I think you should personalize it, Tracy.
Okay.
Build one personal. I think that's a great idea. Another question over here, please. Stand up.
I am from Lakeville, and I'm just curious, how do you get your agent to be willing to delegate.
Well, that's going to be an easy answer, and I'm going to let him answer that. How do you get your agent to be willing to delegate and not do the work of an assistant, okay?
They first have to be confident in your ability. So you have to prove yourself that you can take it, and then you just continuously say, oh, I can take care of that, oh, that's already done. And it's a give and take relationship, and the trust builds up over time.
Do that. So don't ask for permission. Take the job, do it, say, hey, I did this. And that's how they become confident that you understand the scope of the job. Yes. Jennifer? Oh, Jennifer. Oh, she works for someone who's extremely controlling. Diane King, right? Don't you think?
I did not say that, right?
Diane, I know Diane, I've coached her for several years now. I'm pretty clear about her business. And she just, well, like all agents, they're controlling.
Yeah.
So how did you wrestle that away?
My answer to your question is that I work on it every day.
That's the
And
answer.
after 9 years, I work on it every single day.
And yet she'll still come in and try to do something and meddle, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because she doesn't want to prospect. Because she thinks she needs to do that instead, right? Just tell her
all the secrets.
I know. Right. But that's true of every agent, and probably every agent in this room. They'll find, it's like the shiny object. Oh, there he is. Those people need me. Oh, don't you call, let me call, right? Yes.
Yeah, for me, it's been a little bit of a challenge because John didn't have an assistant for a while, so he had gotten used to doing most everything himself again, so it's been like, no, that's my job, give it to me, I can do that. And it's like you said, trust. You have to learn to trust each other, that they'll trust that you get it done the way they want it done.
Keep them focused on their 20.
Yeah.
Okay?
I agree with that. It's totally trust. I started out with Alyssa, and she had a hard time delegating because of the control, but now I read all her emails and just say what she needs to address and things like that. So it was a process of she let go a little bit more, and now I do everything.
You need to get the cell phone away from her.
I do that.
You do?
I do that. I answer her cell phone.
Some of you are going, you take the cell phone. This gentleman first here, stand up.
Hi, I'm Damien from Longmont, Colorado. And I'm the agent. My wife is now licensed. My vision for her was to be an admin. She's a high SC. And
you really want to work together? Pay her to go get another career. Seriously. No, but I'm just saying it's great if you want to build a team together, but really have some strong counseling. Strong counseling.
Is that something should she take that class?
Yes, that might give her the decision to do it or not do it, so it'll be well worth it. It'll be less than any other financial disaster you might get yourself involved in with the national statistics, if you hear where I'm going. No, with the friends too. No friends in the business.
No. I mean, like she likes to go show houses.
Her friend likes to show houses.
No, she likes to show houses.
Okay, but she wants to bring her friend into the business to do what?
She wants like her friend as a client.
Oh, she can go show houses all day long. Yeah, you bet. To have her on a day-to-day accountability with you and for her to see exactly who you are all day long and what you do all day long, and then you go home and talk about it. I mean, I could go on. And I'm seriously saying, if she wants to be a buyer agent, great. But keep her, in my personal opinion, unless she's very detailed and organized, and you guys have a huge counseling session of who's the boss and how we're going to handle things after work, I think you could do it. But I think you need to really have that strong conversation. Go to church, pray, lots of things. I know what I'm talking about here. Stand up.
I'm Jerry. I'm a Georgia transplant to Seattle, so you won't question that.
Go Seahawks, whatever.
Anyway, I hired my first assistant last year, 7 months ago. She's been doing mostly my transactions, the paperwork and stuff. I'm having a hard time transitioning from once I get the thing signed and handing it to her, that I still am on the phone, coordinating everything with the clients. And she wants to do that. How do I let go and
for a minute. Give me a break before I take this.
I know I'm supposed to and I want to.
Okay, sit down, we're gonna try to help. You've trained her, right?
She was a realtor. in
Does she have her checklist and everything she's supposed to do?
Yes, she does have her checklist.
So you need to trust that she's going to do what's on that list, because you hired the right person, right?
Oh, she's fabulous.
So you need to let her own that position.
Okay, I guess my question for you would be, why do you think you're not allowing her to just own it?
It's probably because I was a solo agent for so many years, and it's probably a little bit of a control thing, and it's not because I don't trust her. I guess it's a habit. How's that? It's a habit, I'm used to it. So I'm thinking, make sure, just go back and look at my checklist, and then just make, just let her do it, right?
All right.
It's hard to let
So
her.
first of all, stand up.
Okay.
Okay. So do you feel your assistant is highly capable? She knows exactly what she's doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Will she harm your business by talking to a client?
She hasn't so far. She's talking to a couple now.
Okay. Here's your reality check, and I don't have time to be honest, so I'm going to apologize right now. So you're her assistant.
Okay, I got you.
You are her assistant, okay? All right, the second thing is, you're telling her that you're better than she is. Oh, let me do this. No, I'll take care of this. So you're giving her the wrong message. And then here's the third thing. She's going to do it better than you.
Yes, she is.
And you just lost 3 listings every month that you don't let her go and do
You're right.
this.
That's what I'm
So what's your average sales price?
3 to 350.
Okay, so you lost $30,000 last month. Congratulations. Give it up. Your job is you lead follow-up. You go on listing appointments.
And I do.
You negotiate. But you're not when you're calling, hey, I want to tell you about your son. You're calling people about their son? Calling them about something on the listing?
Yeah.
Well, why are you talking to them? Yes. Okay, but here's the thing. Let's talk about this. Okay, here's what you don't know, and I'm going to help everybody here. Transition is critical. Does she have a business card?
Not yet.
How long has she been there?
6 months.
You saving up? $25. Okay, get her cards immediately. Let's talk about the transition. Okay? All right, let's start down here. Transition. How do you guys transition to the team member who's going to be doing that calls and the follow-up and that sort of thing?
So we have a lot of different departments, it's a lot of moving pieces, but there's a system as when the lead comes in, there's a coordinator. She gets the listing presentation packet completely ready. Russell comes in, takes the packet, goes on the appointment, gets the paperwork signed, hands it to the listing department. Listing department takes it from listing to contract. From contract to close goes to the closing department. And it's systematized every single step of the way. There's no question as whose job it is. We know. There's a backup person for it if that person's not available, but there's a system and it never changes.
And so when Russell's at the listing presentation and once they've signed, is he now saying this is the next person that's going to call you, here's what's going to happen next?
Absolutely, he's prepping them. It's all about expectations. You have to tell your clients that you've hired people that are better than you at certain things, and now they have an expert for every piece of the transaction.
You have to pass the baton, and you have to make sure the agents are here that you absolutely are setting up the expectations of who's going to do what next. All right, Jennifer, how do you guys set it up? Because once Diane takes a listing, she's out of it pretty much.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Really, it starts, with us, we started with our pre-listing package. When we get the call that someone wants to meet with Diane to list their home, we actually have kind of a timeline in the pre-listing package that kind of guides people through what's going to happen to set the expectation right up front. And then when she goes to the listing appointment, automatically, that's just a part of her listing presentation, is to go through the team and kind of just let them know, again, setting up the expectation up front. That's really the critical part. really, it's the agent that really does that for us.
Okay. Does who handles the listing, do they have a business card that Diane takes?
Yes.
See? Good answer. Okay. Because that builds the credibility. Here's my assistant's card. She will be calling you tomorrow. Yes, ma'am.
We also have it in the pre-listing packet, because there's only the call coordinator and myself for admin. And so it's in the pre-listing packet, and it has a little description about what we do. And I don't have a lot of client contact before it goes under contract, but when it does go under contract, I call them immediately and say, introduce myself, say I'll be walking you through, I'll let you know when inspections are scheduled, et cetera, so that they know they can call me, because John's so busy that if they try and call him, it might be who knows how long before they get back to him. He gets back to them.
Okay. Donna?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Alyssa sets the expectations from day one, that she has set up a team of specialists, people who excel at what they do. And I am in there as the listing coordinator, and I take care of things from the time that they sign those listing docs until it goes to contract. And then they're going to hear from Alicia, because she is our expert.
Okay, so where's my little gal over here? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, stand up.
I'm glad I'm not insecure.
Happy person. I don't care. Okay.
I'm here to learn.
Okay, good. All right, don't touch it again. All right. I've been doing this too long. All right. Okay, so here's what I have to say to you. Do you give everybody your cell phone? Yes. Of course she does. All right. So when a listing calls you because you gave them your cell phone and they want to know about the sign or this and what's going to happen and where's this and where's that, what about a showing, you got to say, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. Melissa has the file right on her desk. Let me give it to you. So Melissa's the best to answer that question. So if you answer the question, even if you know the answer, you are conditioning your seller to continue to call you. So even when you know the answer, you are also goofing up the system, because if they say, I want to know about when this is going to happen, you tell the answer, then you have your assistant Melissa call, and Melissa says, part of our customer service, I want to let you know, blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, we already know that. How does that make her look? And how does that make your whole team look? So you can't talk and stop giving out your cell phone. Why do you have to give out your cell phone? That's another class. Okay, all right, good. All right, so let's just check. Does the agent give out the cell phone to the listings?
She does give her business card, but she does encourage them to call the office, that Donna is going to be their point of contact.
Okay, so she makes that clear. How about here?
John does give it out sporadically, but people know to call the office if they want something, because we're always there.
Okay.
Okay, we tried the experiment with no cell phone on her business card. I ordered her cards and just took it off. That didn't work out.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Now,
so
she has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, she gives it out.
However, if a call comes in, she doesn't answer it though.
Correct.
Okay, she's trained to do that.
Yes.
Yes, we do give out Russell's cell phone, but he doesn't check his voicemails, and the admin always calls back the client.
Okay, good. All right. So this is just after 33 years of experience, and so some of you are different levels. So I sold 209 houses last year. I don't give out my cell phone to anyone, and I always say to the listing, we're open from 8 to 5. If you have a question over the weekend, be sure to call the office, and we'll make sure we get back to you. So I set up the expectations that I'm not going to give my cell phone. They don't ask for my cell phone. And I have business hours, just like a business person. You don't call your doctor directly. You don't call your dentist. And we don't call our hairstylist. We don't call the guy with the car mechanic. We don't call these people directly. They own businesses. So that's a business mentality in my thought. But obviously they're doing quite well doing it. Go ahead, stand up.
Carly Folger. I'm with Keller Williams here in Tempe.
Oh, you drove far? Yeah, really.
I'm very new to my team. I have 2 agents. I'm in the same office with them. We sit at 2 desks and there's 3 people. So that just gives you an idea. How do you protect your time? going as far as what my agent does. He is a delegator, has no problem delegating anything to anybody, which makes it hard on me to kind of start protecting my time. And I was just wondering if you can give me a little insight as to how you set that expectation with your agent to protect your time.
Great question. I'm going to address a different aspect of it. When I first started with Russell 13 years ago, we worked in his attic, literally. For 2 years, it was me for the first year. We hired a second person, and finally his wife said, "Get out. All of you out of my house." Those 2 years with Russell in his attic were the most, I learned more in those 2 years than ever. So take advantage of the opportunity, because you'll learn so much from just listening to them on the phone. It's really important that you understand exactly how they would answer something. And that way you can make the decisions and be confident of, I know this is what my agent was going to do, and you're confident making the decision. So the first step is make sure that you're taking advantage of the opportunity and looking at it as a blessing, not a curse. The other part of it is time blocking and making sure that you're always reminding your agent, so Russell will just hand me stuff, just hand. And I tell my staff, I don't expect you to be Superwoman. I expect you to raise your hand when your plate's full. If you don't raise your hand, I'm continuing to push. If at any point you drown, I can't help you. If you tell me you're up to here, I can help you at that point. So you have to raise your hand and say, I've got 5 things on my plate. I can finish 3 of them. What are your top 3 priorities? And always asking that question to your agent. It's one of Russell's favorite and least favorite things about me, is that I'm very good at saying, I've got 7 things on my list, I can do 5, what's your top priority?
Okay, go ahead.
I guess I would agree with the blessing of being on top of each other. That's really how I learned real estate. I didn't know anything about real estate when I got in this business, obviously, and that's how I learned, was by sitting, because we were so close to each other. I just listened to everything she said all day long. I think the time blocking as well, I do that with Diane as well. My secret is, and everyone's going to know now, is that I will tell her, if I'm going to start time blocking at 12 o'clock, I tell her I'm going to start time blocking at 11, because I know that at 5 minutes to 11, she's going to come blowing in the office with 100 things for me to do before I start time blocking. So now I have an extra hour to get all that stuff done.
It's a trick. Yeah, good.
It is a blessing and a curse, because the agent I worked for before, we were in a tiny little office like back to back, and it was great, because I would, just by listening to her, know what was going on with the business, you know, like, oh, she's talking to so-and-so, they're going to get ready to list, so I could start doing a pre-listing packet, and that kind of thing. So now it's a little more of a challenge, because the agent is in a different office, so I have to kind of nab him when he comes by. And like Tiffany said, it's, if you get all that stuff on your plate, you have to say, okay, you know, what is a priority? When does this need to get done, so you can properly plan your day?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I ditto to everything that they said, but one of the biggest phrases that Alyssa and I say to each other is, by when?
Exactly. Okay. So let me just dovetail on that. So in the perfect world, and I know that it's going to be hard, but if you could train your agents to understand that if they spent 2 hours time blocking or an hour and a half on lead generation, and it allowed you to focus on what you need to do, and then you meet with them at 11 o'clock from 11 to 11:15, have 5, 6 things that you're going to accomplish today, tell them 2 or 3 things that you accomplished yesterday, and here are your questions, so that you're not getting constant interruptions, and they're staying focused on their one thing that they should be focused on. Yes, sir. Stand up.
My name is Minadab, Santa Monica, California. I just started in October, early October.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. We've gotten past the trust phase. I do a lot of the docs already, disclosures, you name it. Not the cell phone, that'll be later. My question is, you had stated you started in an attic and you worked, husband, wife was there. Was there ever a time where you were helping the business, you wanted to take work off of them, but like the family, or more like, hey, I need you to run and do this at the store, or you know, something got tied up?
Like personal errands, you mean?
It wasn't a personal errand. It was like, oh, hey, you're going to go pick up balloons for this open house. By the way, pick me up a case of waters. It was just something that tied. And I learned real early that I wanted to do more, so he does his thing. my question is, when that kind of gets together,
Muddled, yeah.
how do I know when not to do something? Because I wanted to do it, but I got to the point where, I didn't want to step, and we work at a home office also, so I don't know if you've experienced that over there.
Russell's kids were 5 and 7 when I started.
Oh.
One of them played the drums. On the second floor, right next to my office. It just happens. And you always ask your agent, it goes back to priority. Hey, I've got 5 things on my list today. You asked me to pick up balloons and a case of water. Just confirm. It's just communication back and forth. But it's part of it. Real estate guys, you can time block as much as you want to. You can say you're only going to work 8 to 5. Real estate, we all color outside the line. So no matter how good you are at it, it's going to go a different direction. Things are going to go sideways. Your agents need help. Take off as much as you can from them. And if that means picking up the dry cleaning, you pick up the dry cleaning if that's what they need.
Okay. And then there's just another thought too, is that as you get more into the job, start taking over things that are really, really valuable and important that generate, income, generate customer service to a higher level. So start taking those things away. And then start thinking, and I understand RESPA, so I understand RESPA. Maybe there's an affiliate that has a runner. Maybe there's a title person or a lender person. They can help you go do those kind of run, get balloons, and go get water for the office and have them just bring it over once a month and stock your office. So I get RESPA, but sometimes you can ask them to help too. Do you have anything you'd add to that?
The only thing that I would really add is that I tend to look at my agent's schedule, at her calendar, and I try and predict the things that we've been together a long time, so I kind of know some of the things that she probably hasn't taken care of that I'm able to take care of that are going to be a disruption for me. So things like if I see that she's got a birthday luncheon, I'll normally call and say, do you have a present? Because the answer is going to be no. Yeah, exactly. And that kind of stuff you can see already. Once you kind of get to know that agent, you'll get to know kind of what they're going to, if you see on the schedule that there's an open house, you probably know they're not going to get the balloons, right, at this point. So you may as well grab a case of water as well, because they may ask you for that too.
Okay, so Melissa, I'm going to switch a gear here real quick and then we'll catch a couple more questions.